Nation, what's going on? Nathan, Alan, Jeff, we are your Hill Brothers, and it is that time, one final time. It is Tar Heel Game Day for football. What's going on, fellas? How are we doing today?
What's up?
What's going on, y'all?
Jeff, what's up, buddy?
How are y'all?
Doing good, man. I'm primed. I'm ready. I've had my coffee. I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some fighting. There's going to be some truth pulling. There's going to be... I'm ready, bro. Let's go. I just knocked my daggone microphone out of whack, too.
There you go. There you go.
We're suffering casualties today. Whew, man. How's everybody doing, man? Everybody doing good?
Good. I'm more interested about this this mixer you said you bought. What kind? Tell me about it.
We'll talk about that later. matters now. But yeah, dude, we got ourselves a great day today. It's game day, fellas. It's game day. We got 7:30 p.m. ACC Network. Alan finally talked me into it. As you guys can see down there at the bottom, 7:15 p.m. is the live watch party. It'll start on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, all that good jazz. It's gonna be we're gonna go through this thing. I don't know what the heck it's gonna look like, but we're gonna go through it. That's for sure. It's gonna be a fantastic time,
For better or for worse.
for better or for worse. It's the last
Yes, sir.
game. You know, it's the last game. We're gonna do our best today. Okay, we're just gonna do our best. Hopefully the team pulls out a win over there. A little bit about this game day. This game day has shifted a couple of times behind the scenes, which is really unfortunate. So a couple of things are happening right now. We originally had a pretty sizable lineup coming in today. Two of them are not going to be able to make it. Jacob Turner, who is having his family down, his brother came down. Family time comes over, it comes about, especially around this time of year, man. It's Thanksgiving. Time for family to be together. As a matter of fact, myself and Alan and our family, we're getting ready to do our Thanksgiving right here in the next few hours. And then also Marquise Williams, the former quarterback, he's having some issues with travel, I've heard, per Alan. So he's not going to be able to make it. And I just got word from Andrew Jones. Jeff. Andrew Jones will be here. He will not be here for as long because his heat is out. He just got back from Fort Myers, Florida. He was telling me right here.
37 degrees outside.
Yeah, he goes from 84 doing his steps like he normally does to 53, and the heat's not working at the house. So it's been cold down here where we are. Me and Alan, we live in the northern tip of South Carolina. It was 28 last night. So it was it's cold. Let's put you that way. I had to put on my long pants here. You guys can't see it, but I got on my nice long pants. My Ralph Lauren had these things for like 20 years, but they're great. These little pants right here, man. Had to throw some socks on the whole ordeal. You just had to bundle up last night, dude.
Subtle flex with the Ralph Lauren. Jeez.
I know, really.
I think you gave them to me. I've had them for like 20 years. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, So, what about you, Jeff? How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, man.
You doing?
Yeah. The side note of everything is the procedure that they've been waiting for my dad to get for the last 3 days finally is happening right now. So
really,
he's in surgery again right now. So I'm kind of watching that, waiting for my brother. My brother's here. My brother's already went to the hospital, waiting on that. And like I said, I'm cutting out of here at noon to go to volleyball senior day in Carmichael against Miami with my daughter.
Right.
And then we'll see from there. If I go, I don't know. My watch party availability is pending at this point. So we'll see.
Right. Well, dang, dude, I didn't know that. And dude, you could have easily just been like, hey, not happening today. Like, bro.
I mean, it's right now it's just sitting in there at the hospital waiting. So I mean, my mom and my brother are there. So I wasn't planning on going this morning anyway. I wasn't planning on going up there this morning anyway. So,
wow, absolutely, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. Like, game day is more than just about us. It's about us as a family, man. We're together. I didn't know.
There's nothing I can do right now anyway up there. So,
yeah.
So at least I.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a second.
At least I can talk to y'all and take my mind off stuff.
Absolutely, dude. For sure, man. We're a family over here, bro, and we like to have a good time and everything. But when life happens, and I didn't know that was happening right now. But since it is, something I wouldn't mind doing this live right now. I'll say a quick prayer for your dad right now.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just want to take this time, Lord, to say thank you for our time together, Lord. I thank you for bringing Jeff into our lives and allowing us to be able to have fun and talk Tar Heels, Lord, and have game day shows. But Lord, I just I pray that you would be with his family right now, his father, Lord, as he goes through this time, this surgery, these medical procedures, Lord, everything that's going on. I pray that you just have your hand on him, Lord, that you would heal him, that you would bring him through, that you would lift him up, Lord, and that you would give him a testimony to tell for years to come, Lord, as this thing comes to an end, Lord, and that this whole family could shout your praises and your glories through it all, Lord. I just want to thank you. I want to praise you for everything that you're doing, that you're done, that you're going to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Boom.
Amen. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. We love you. We love you, dude.
Love you.
Absolutely, man. And hopefully in this game, we're going to have ourselves a good time. At 11 o'clock, we're going to have Andrew Jones come on from Tar Heel 24/7. Really looking forward to talking to him. He's probably going to have a nice tan on. He's been in daggum Florida with Fort Myers and everything over there in Florida, bro. So he's having himself a great time. Not having a good time with the daggum, with the thing going on right now. The heat being out, that's just brutal, dude. That's absolutely brutal. But that's all right, man. What's your Jeff? Lead us off, brother. What is your thoughts on this game coming in day of?
It hadn't changed for me. I mean, pretty much the same stuff I've been saying. Same things I've been saying coming into it. It's just guys have got to be smart, man. Like I said, I keep saying it. Got to harness that emotion. Got to be smart. Got to be smart. Just Alan said the other day, play to the whistle. But once the whistle goes, you gotta stop all the extracurriculars and things like that. Don't let them bait us into any sportsmanlikes and things like that can really get us in a bad way. But I think got to play tough, be tough. It's going to be a tough one now. We know that. Need to do what we can to stop to contain Hollywood. I don't think we stop him. He's too good. I think contain him. D-line, get some pressure on the quarterback, which we know they can do. And State has given up some stuff on that front anyway.
Right.
And hey, continued little bit of progress from Gia. Take advantage of that defense, that NC State defense that overall is 127th. So.
Absolutely, dude. I'm pretty excited to see how Carolina comes out. I just want to see them come out with effort, energy, and passion. And I could be eating crow by 7:45.
We all could,
but
right? Yeah.
It feels like this team is going to have some of that little bit extra, if you will, to get this thing and to at least come out and fight, dude. We saw it last night. I don't know if you guys watched it. Texas A&M, dude. That right there, rivalry. Texas A&M's been a great team all year. I think they were they're undefeated right now, wasn't they?
Yeah, they were undefeated. Number 3 in the country, undefeated.
Number 3 coming into that game, and then Texas, a team that has done kind of this number right here all year at a higher level than we have, of course. But
9-3.
Yeah, was able to find a way to win, and dude, they did that thing. And rivalry games, records goes out the windows, how great you've been all year, all that stuff goes out the window, and it's just time to go fight and duke it out. And I like that. I was watching Arizona last night as well, and to see those teams to do what they do, man, that's absolutely wild, man. And Kevin, we don't have to be Texas. All we have to be is North Carolina and be a team that goes out there and win. That's all we got to do. Negativity, we're throwing negativity out the window. Actually, should I mute Alan? Should I just go ahead and do that now? Is that the thing that should happen?
I mean, since you said we're throwing negativity out the window, you might want to just go ahead and cut him.
Alan, we appreciate you. I'll see you next year.
Cut his mic for today.
We'll just allow him to go away. There he is. Alan, what's your thoughts? Go ahead, talk, speak on it there.
I say it's a good thing. I got control over here too. I just kick me out, put me in the background. I can just hit the end stream button.
Oh boy.
No. Kevin said Mac Brown's at Texas now.
Yeah, no.
No, man. I mean, it's. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what kind of North Carolina team we get. If you get that more of the game manager type out of Lopez that you kind of saw more last week, then if the defense can get some stops, then you might have a chance in this game. But if you're going to get that 3 and out offense that puts 3 or 4 3 and outs in a row, 7 or 8 3 and outs in a game, that's just not going to win ball games. especially against, a team that, has a heartbeat in NC State. So, I think the most important thing, North Carolina's defensive line has got to not necessarily get the sack, but get a lot of pressure and, pressure him, but don't let him escape the pocket, because once he escapes the pocket, he's more of a runner than Darian Mintz out. Now, a couple times you saw Mintz get out of the pocket and run, but Bailey, he's more of that scramble guy. Mintz is not really a scrambler. But Bailey will definitely burn you with your legs if you let him get out.
Yep.
Absolutely, dude.
Cool.
That dude's a dual threat, man. I think he's the best quarterback that we're going to have seen this year. There's some you can put Darian Mintz in that conversation for sure. Just for me personally, he's my guy. I like CJ Bailey a lot. Has shown the ability. He's had 9 turnovers this year, 9 interceptions. Now, granted, they throw the ball a ton over there, and they've had to. Because their defense has not been great. I said it's very 2022-esque Drake May's first year at North Carolina, where the offense, if it wasn't throwing for 500-600 yards a daggum game, then more than likely we're probably losing that game because the defense was just not that great at all. And I feel like we're seeing that again with this state team. Now, that would be great if we had an offense that obviously puts up a ton of points. But we have this offense right now. But I will say, last game being, in my opinion, and I'll see what you guys think, they played their best. Then I feel a whole heck of a lot more comfortable with us going into this game, considering the defense that we have. We have a team that can run the ball. They can throw different running backs at you. Yes, State has been fairly good at guarding for the run. But are we generating the plays that we need to that are pushing us down the field? Are we throwing the ball maybe outside? I noticed that Gio loves outside the numbers a lot. He loves that area. I don't know what it is. It's just, like I said, if it's not a curl, he ain't throwing it, and things of that nature. Joke, but it's kind of something that you saw a lot more of and more effective last week. If they're doing that, that's going to open up some things in the running game. So if we can get the passing game going, we don't have to be throwing down it doesn't have to be a deep shot every single throw, but if we're throwing the ball that it's getting us down the field, not always a drag or a screen or something of that nature, but something that moves the ball down the field and keeps moving the change. This is the best shot Carolina has. Now, granted, if Carolina cannot do that, if the coordinator is coming in with a very conservative mindset, Carolina's going to lose this game. They're going to lose big, and it's not going to be pretty at all. So my question is, what kind of a OC are you going to have today? And my thing is this: Freddie Kitchens probably knows he's gone. Throw everything you got at the sucker. Just say screw it, because you got especially if you want to go coach again somewhere else. I mean, that's just me.
So it's a job interview for Kitchens. This game's a job interview.
I would, yeah. Every game should be.
I don't think anybody watching this season at North Carolina is going to hire Freddie Kitchens as offense coordinator. They might hire him as a water boy.
I'm not
going to say that, because by God, he showed this same thing as an OC before.
I think position.
Any other places?
I think he's valuable as a position coach for sure. But
tight ends, especially, is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought he did an amazing job with the tight ends. I mean, and you had 2 really good tight ends to work with, and then you added Jake Johnson in there last year. Oh my God, I thought they were off the chain. But as an offensive coordinator, he's just not the guy.
No.
And that's just the unfortunate part of this. Now, right here in just a second, we're going to have AJ from Tar Heel 24/7 hopping on. Really excited to talk to him and get his perspective. We haven't really been able to talk to him this football season because, dude, there's been so much going on for him and everything else. Basketball's now here. He's just now getting back from Fort Myers, Florida, and just watched North Carolina lose the game to Michigan State just the other day. On Thanksgiving Day, as a matter of fact. But super excited to see what he has to say there. Real quick, one question, Jeff, for you. Tell me what you think about Carolina on the defensive line here. Do we need to see multiple defensive linemen today? Or is it these guys that are starters, keep them in there consistently throughout the entire game and just push them?
No, I mean we've got enough guys in there to it doesn't have to be just one, you know. We've seen it all year, that we've had contributions, good contributions from multiple people. And when you can throw when you got more than one guy to worry about, that's when you potentially cause problems for teams. So
I just didn't know if you wanted to keep maybe the bell cows in there, the guys that
I mean, I think, for sure. I mean, as long as, that stands to reason. That stands to reason, but that doesn't mean, that you're not seeing, the Leroy Jacksons and, Deontay Robinsons and Xavier Lewis is in there as well.
Right.
Doing some work. But yeah, I mean, we fully, you got to fully expect Melcart and Tyler to do work and be the ones, but good supporting roles and some pressure and some contribution from the others just make it that much easier for us and better for us. And I think it's highly possible. We've seen them all with flashes this year.
Right. And I'm curious to get this guy's opinion on it as well. Joining us now, Andrew Jones from Tar Heel 24/7. AJ, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys?
Doing pretty good, man. Dude, you got the tan going, or from Fort Myers, bro?
Well, the frost in the house is killing it because our heat stopped working last night. So if you see breath coming out of me, I'm really not outdoors. I'm actually inside. Actually in the process of being fixed right now. So
that's rough, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. My Thanksgiving meal was an omelet from Denny's.
Amen.
Which was across the street from my hotel, and I didn't really want to. It was game day and all, so I was out getting my steps. I took my card with me, and I walk into Denny's on Thanksgiving, sweating like a pig, to order something to take back to the hotel room. And these two kids working, they must be like their first jobs. They looked at me like I had typhoid fever or something like that. I tried to explain to them I'm getting my steps, and I don't think they really understood. They were just overwhelmed with boomerism. And I got the omelet, ate it, the basketball game, flew home. So they probably had a story to tell about some sickly old man that ordered an omelet, sweating to death on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
You look good, AJ. You look good.
Hey, I'm feeling good, man. It was it felt like a long 4.5 days down there, 3.5, whatever it was. I got down there Monday, came back yesterday morning. So it was really weird because I was there for 2 games. Usually a lot of times when I go places, if I have extended time, I explore some. I didn't really explore much. Wednesday was just a massive work day in the hotel room. So it was kind of odd where I got to go to California in January for 6 days, and that's probably going to seem like 2 weeks. But I was talking to Steve Kirshner, the UNC media relations guy for basketball, and we're like, man, it feels like we've been here a week and a half. It was really odd how time drags when you're gone over a holiday, different maybe from other times, but especially over a holiday. So I was glad to be back, glad to heading over to Carter Finley tonight for that drunk fest. And looking forward to seeing whatever kind of club the Tar Heels, Bill Belichick.
I told you, man. I said it the other day. This game, I love tailgating as much as anybody on this earth. Anybody that knows me knows that. This game should not be a 7:30 game ever.
Actually,
that is just
too be law that it's 7:30. The
more that's too much. That's too much time for hydration. Man,
he just wants to see the world burn.
The Raleigh police officers. Raleigh police officers are gonna have their hands full tonight.
I don't know if you guys know this. Media parking is in the midst of tailgating. There's like regular parking and media parking in the same area, and it's interesting because you get out of the car, 2.5 hours for the game, and it is just a wild scene. You just hope nobody notices that you're in the media. Otherwise, they don't really like the media over there. I know that when I used to cover them a lot when I was at the Star News and at Fox and stuff, I wrote a column. They opened a season at home against South Carolina and lost 7-0. So I wrote a column calling them the Wake County Wolfpack. and they actually had to move my parking for a while because they didn't want people seeing that it was me who they were all pissed off
And
at
I'll
it.
tell you, yeah, you better watch it.
Yeah, so I'll be parking over there tonight, and I really enjoy it. I wish Carolina had a tailgate scene like that. I think it would be great, but
That's the
it's
one
not
thing-
possible given the circumstances. So
Yeah.
I enjoy
Given the
going over there
situation.
and seeing it. I enjoy seeing people love college football. When we went down to Central Florida, they had some really cool tailgating, and walking through that, going up to the stadium was a lot of fun. So to me, it's one of the great things about college football, no matter where you go. Even Cal had some tailgating, which surprised me because the way the stadium is. So tailgating to me is a great thing no matter where it is, and it will certainly be on a different level tonight.
Dude, what's wild is the fact that we got invited, as we do the scouting report series where we bring in other people from those teams to talk about their teams. Alan, did we not get invited? Roger from
California.
UCF invited us down to the bounce house, and then Ahmad and Reza from Tell the Whole Damn World from Cal, they invited us out. Oh, dude, I've told myself, like, I've got to go to those places to
You
see
got to
this.
go.
It's amazing.
It's pretty wild because now that I've been covering Carolina only for a while, whenever I'm on the road, I mean, my eyes find the light blue. I like seeing Carolina fans, there were a ton of them down in Fort Myers. I mean, that St. Bonaventure had a nice turnout, but I would say it was 90% Carolina. Now, Michigan State had more fans than Carolina.
That's what
A lot more. It was like 60-40. They were louder too.
They were loud.
They had reason to be loud, I guess, a little
Yeah.
more than Carolina fans. But I love seeing Carolina fans on the road in the airport. When I travel, somebody always comes up to me and talks at one of the gates and stuff. It's just a neat thing covering UNC because they travel so well. Even in football, they usually do pretty well. Basketball's off the charts. When they played at Gonzaga, what was it, December of 19? It was December of 19 they played at Gonzaga, and one of the local TV guys came up to me on the baseline during warm-ups, and he said two things. Number one, he said, man, it is an absolute treat to see this uniform in this building. And the other thing he says, holy hell, there's a lot of light blue in the stands. They travel. I said they do. And not only do they travel, but they're everywhere. Like they live everywhere. So they're Carolina fans in Spokane that probably went to the game, and they're just there.
Right.
They're everywhere you go, there's Carolina fans.
Absolutely, dude. And when Alan and I were traveling up last year to Boston, us in the terminals, just talking to Carolina fans, getting ready to leave and go to Boston. When we were up there again, there was and we saw Carolina's football team was last year, and there was no real optimism. I mean, Belichick's coming in, all that good stuff. But still, to see all that happen and the people still show up is amazing. But I am curious though,
100%.
for you. What is the idea? Like, how you feeling about this game for Carolina?
I wrote a column that I ran this morning overnight about the opportunity that this is for the program. This has been a bad year. Belichick's most ardent defender, and there are several that are on our boards that like to fire poisonous arrows at me every day. But the reality is that I don't care who you are. This has been a lousy year. Yeah. But they actually have a chance today to finish this thing off right, to beat State, whether or not it's Doran's last game, doesn't matter. Beat State in their place, reset some of the narrative, actually win 5 games, which after the week after Clemson didn't seem possible that they would win again, much less 3 more games, and beat your rival on the road. And then Wednesday's going to be a big day. Signing day is going to be really, really big for this program. They're going to get at least 40 guys. We're waiting for another flip right now, a pretty big-time prospect. The staff has lost some kids here in the last 6 weeks, but they're closing really strong. So if they can bookend a win today with signing day Wednesday, for the first time since TCU's second possession, when Marcus Allen had the pass interference call, for the first time since then, you can actually look and say, you know what? Maybe things are starting to settle a little bit.
Momentum.
Maybe.
Yeah, that Cleveland flip would be huge. That Cleveland flip.
Yeah, all the tea leaves are suggesting it's going to happen. I know that the Penn State, the kicker that flipped from Penn State was supposed to commit Wednesday, but he didn't get his art from the people who were supposed to send him the commitment art. He was supposed to do it Thursday, and we're on alert Thursday on Thanksgiving. He didn't get the art then, so I guess he got the art yesterday and finally committed.
Yeah.
That is awesome, bro.
Way to drop the ball.
I didn't know that they actually got like full blown commitment graphics
They
specifically
do,
made
yeah.
for them. And that's amazing.
Yeah,
Like I'd like to be in that room.
yeah,
for
and it's Joe Tipton changed the world on that, right? When Tipton edits, when he used to do, the kids would pay him to do graphics. A lot of times he did them for free just to get his name out there, and it parlayed him the job with On3. So the graphics are a big thing now. And what I find interesting too is that in with all the technology that we're in, when we run photo galleries from games, that gets like that's probably number 3 in views. My column is up there, and some of our takeaways are basketball. Something David Sisk does is going to be really, really high. But then there's a photo gallery. So even with all the technology today, basic still photos, people still want to see, because you can look at a photo and your mind can kind of wander some. You can look around and just kind of visualize other things than what you just see. And I'm glad to see that, because sometimes we're getting so AI and so overly technical that something as simple as a photo still matters.
Right. And I'm curious and that's a big point, because matter of fact, I'm one of those views on that photo gallery. I'm always one of those people. Just because I like looking at the photos. And there's some super cool shots that people get. Like, because when I was in TV back a few years ago, one of the things, I was on air commentary, but then also I would be running camera for certain sports as well. And it would be a fun time when our photographer, his guy named Juan Rios, love that dude to death. He actually called me the other day. He would come up to me like after a big dunk or something like that. He'd be like, "Bro, I got the shot," and he would show me like his pics, and it would be some great pictures that we would submit over to our local newspaper. And they were super cool. So I love that I got the shot moment. I love that stuff.
So funny story. We didn't know if we were going to have photos down at Fort Myers.
Really?
Because I found out when I got there that USA Today and Getty were not there. They didn't have anybody there. And I'm thinking, well, they're supposed to have a portal. And R.L. Bynum, Tar Heel Tribune, told me before Carolina's game against St. Bonaventure that there's nothing in the portal. He clicked a link. There were no photos from the earlier games, the Michigan State ECU game. None of that was in the portal. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm on the baseline near the Carolina bench. So I whip out my phone. I start taking photos during the game, which is really kind of a no-no, but sometimes battle conditions, you got to survive. You need some photos. So I probably took like 80 photos, and I was thumbing through them after the game, and there were like 3 that were usable. Because you're the moving image. It's just an iPhone, and it's me taking the picture, which makes it even worse. And the pictures were terrible, and I was trying to figure out ways I could maybe crop it. And I used one on the front page, and I was terrified someone would notice. But you got to do what you got to do. I did it in Las Vegas when they beat UCLA. It was actually 3 days after that Gonzaga game I mentioned earlier, and I only took free throw photos because I was afraid to take other ones. So I ran 2 photos with different articles that day of Carolina shooting free throws. It was brutal.
Oh man,
dude, I'm telling you, that is a struggle, bro. That is a serious struggle.
It's stressful because you need photos. You can't run a photo from a different game or just some generic photo of a helmet or something like that. You've got to run photos,
right?
And
Absolutely.
And sometimes when you're on the road, our photographer doesn't always travel. Doesn't really travel outside the general area for the most part. So you've got to make sure that if Getty's not there, USA Today's doesn't have somebody shooting or someone uploading to USA Today from the Gannett services, that you got to find a way to get photos, because you got to have a photo with the piece. You just can't have a 24/7 logo up there. That would look pretty bad.
Hey, bro, I got you, bro. Let's go. Come on. I got the camera ready. Let's rock. No, I want to talk to you about Geo. Geo is obviously the biggest conversation that's out there right now. The game plan for Carolina, it felt like to me, and I'd love to get your opinion on this too, on the second in the second half of the Duke game, where it kind of felt like, you know what, screw it, we're throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. Geo, go do your thing. And it felt like he settled down a little bit, and it was played a little bit more to his strengths. Do you think we see a full game plan of that today instead of just a half of it?
Well, it would make sense, because it takes 4 quarters to win.
It would.
Especially when you're good. You know, I will say this. I've tried really hard the last month or so to take Bill Belichick at his word. his insistence about certain areas of improvement, and he's been insistent about it with Gio. So I asked him, I guess it was following the game last week, about some specific areas of improvement for Gio. Or maybe it was actually the presser before the Duke game. And he said decision making, and I asked a follow up, and I said, is this when not to throw the ball? Because he's now thrown 108 straight passes without being intercepted. And he's only been intercepted in 2 different games since TCU. So he's not throwing a bunch of interceptions. He's still fumbling at some, but he's not throwing a bunch of interceptions. And he's not throwing the ball away a lot either. So he's taken a few more chances and not throwing interceptions. And he said, yes, that was one of the things. So I pinned my ears back a few days ago, and I dug into his stats the first 4 games. 2 of them were against garbage, Charlotte and Richmond. And then he missed the Clemson game and the 6 games since, and he's taken every snap the last 6 games. The numbers aren't dramatically different. It's not like he suddenly turned into Drake May, but they are noticeably different in his completion percentage, in the chunk plays that he gets, and they're also moving the ball a lot more. They had, through those first 4, I think they had 8 possessions out of 44 where they gained more than 40 yards. And since then, they've almost doubled that percentage where they're actually moving the chains some now. Instead of getting 15 first downs against Richmond, now they're getting 20 against Duke. And they played a tougher schedule. Now, again, it's not a massive difference, but it is a difference. So in Belichick's world, he sees improvement. You go from point A to point C. In his world, this is improvement. So, yes, he has improved. The fans are like, well, C's not very good. So he still stinks. But I think, to answer your question, is that he faces a really bad pass defense tonight. The worst one statistically that they face. Now, they face some really bad ones so far, and he's not even averaging 200 yards passing against those really bad defenses. But tonight could be an opportunity for him to bust out. If they can get a few big chunk plays, they've had some big pass plays for scores recently, get Ship moving, get Paysor moving. Even that screen to DeMond June against Syracuse was a big play. If he can get some of that, and they could maybe stress State some, get State on its heels a little bit, then he has a chance, I think, to do some interesting things. If there is a breakout game in him, like a big stat breakout game in him, tonight kind of sets up because of State's pass defense. However, State did a pretty good job against Thomas Castellanos. And if State plays like that and gets pressure on him, and you get Gio moving and you force him to move right instead of left, then
he's used to that by now.
Well, yeah, they've done a decent job. Their pass protection grade is actually better than you would think. They just don't move the ball a whole lot because they don't take that many chances, and they play under the chains way too often. If it's 3rd and 8, they run a 6-yard play. And then you got to get 2 with your legs when the team knows what you're running. They're very predictable. So obviously, I'm speaking hypothetically on a positive for Carolina. The odds are not great that will happen. The odds are he's going to be who he's been, and he's not going to win the game or lose the game for Carolina. It's going to come in other areas. Special teams was costly, and penalties were costly last week. Maybe defensive breakdowns are costly this week because they got to keep an eye on C.J. Bailey. He hasn't run the ball much this year. But I can tell you right now, they probably have a few design runs for him tonight, because if Carolina's coming for both edges, and they got a linebacker coming, or they got enough linebacker, both linebackers dropping in coverage, and they lose their spy, that's an opportunity for a quarterback draw right there. I can see State doing a little more of that tonight than they usually do.
Good call.
Yeah, they got to keep an eye on him. That's for sure.
Good call.
Yeah.
Alan, Jeff, one of y'all have a question for AJ?
Oh, man, now that you put me on the spot, I had a lot that I was thinking about, but now I'm on the spot. I don't. But, Jeff, what about you, bud?
Thanks, man.
Jeff's just ready to go out and tailgate now.
Yeah, dude, he's excited, man. He's super excited.
Hey, Alan, let me ask Alan real fast. How are you doing? How are you doing after all your medical procedures?
It's better. The scar is, or the external wound's pretty much healed. You can't really feel it anymore. Kind of looks like I have gills behind my ear, which is, I guess, is kind of cool if you like that kind of thing. Even though I don't have the ability to breathe underwater.
Gilled.
Tell people you
The hearing portion, compared my right ear, the one I had surgery on, it's still probably 35-40% hearing of what I hear out of my left ear. So we'll see what happens.
Progress.
Oh, there's my wife. He still can't hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, I conveniently lose my hearing sometimes in this house too.
That's my beautiful wife.
So
man.
you actually you said something earlier, Andrew, and this is not football related. I'm sorry, but when you said it, I was waiting for a second to drop it in there. You were talking about when you were down at Fort Myers and talking to Steve Kirshner. How many times did he mention Northwestern and Emily getting back-to-back titles?
He was beaming. The first time I saw him, he walked in. I said, "Well, congratulations, Papa, of a national champ," and he was beaming. He should be.
He should be 100%. Yeah,
it's pretty cool because when they beat Carolina, that was the de facto national championship game, and he said he gave her the Herb Brooks speech. From the Olympics in '80 when the Americans beat the Russians, but still had another game to win, and I thought that was great. Yeah. She probably had what? Well, I don't know what he's talking about, but for him, it was a great moment. So I was very happy for him. He's a good dude. He is the best in the business. UNC basketball is so fortunate to have literally the best media relations person in the entire country. Chuck Walsh at Florida State's damn good as well. And Steve Kirshner is numero uno. In fact, when he retires, they should hang some up in the building. He's been there. He's been there since '90. I started in '96, and he's there. He's Dean's guy then, and he's been through all this. And he is. If you ever watch him during a game, he's incredibly important for the staff, keeping them updated on stuff. And nobody burns the oil like he does. And they need
the stories he probably could tell.
He's a massive, massive, massive part of Carolina basketball, and he will need to be recognized when his time comes.
Absolutely. You better believe that. Yep.
Man, yeah, that's a subtle plug there for the Tar Heel Olympic spotlight. There we go. I like that.
I just need to let me take 2 or 3 jump shots on the floor of the Smith Center, and I'll be fine.
They have enough bricks already for the building.
So for the new building they're gonna build, yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're gonna probably announce something in about 3 weeks on that.
Nice.
Really? Yeah.
Nice.
Probably no sooner than that. And I have no clue what it's gonna be. I have my deep suspicion what I think it might be. I don't want to say anything here just yet, but I think I know what they're going to do, but it's more gut instinct. It's nothing that nobody's talking about that.
Okay.
Right.
It's going to be.
I hadn't heard anything about it in a while.
And that's something that's kind of skated under the radar over the last few weeks. It's there, like we know it's there, but nobody's talking about it. So it's kind of like the looming beast that isn't woke up yet.
There's been a whole lot going on. Yeah. And by the way, how about fall sports all falling short? That's kind of usually Carolina wins like one national championship in the fall, and everybody fell short.
I'm keeping. That's one of those things. No
Directors Cup this year.
Well, we're still number one in it right now after 3 sports. After 3 championships, I think we are actually number one. But just because we did have strong fans, even though we didn't win.
They're competitive.
Even though we didn't win, we were there, and we had some good places. With cross country, women's cross country had a good showing.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You were talking about that, and I know I was like, it's the stat I've heard about since 1977. Every 4-year student has seen one national championship or something like that, and I'm like, all right, where are we getting it from this year?
Basketball, you're up.
Baseball could be pretty good.
I fully expect baseball. Lacrosse is. Women's lacrosse is going to be. Strong. There's going to be.
I got a question now. Since now you are on 24/7.
Yeah, we're covering.
Thank you, Jesus. Good. Okay. Sorry. We'll talk to you.
I'm not going to do a lot of it because I can't. I've got to pace myself to a degree. But we already have Riken Fuller's going to be the main guy on the beat for baseball. Noah's going to do some stuff. I may do some stuff. I love baseball, so I may just want to go over there and do some things. Ellie Bowman's going to do it. They're going to have a weekly podcast on baseball and everything. We already did a women's basketball podcast, and we're going to have some more of that coming up when Ellie is the main women's beat writer, but with her, she's an intern. She's at Carolina, so with her kind of being in and out, we're not always going to be on top of the women, but we're going to try. But yeah, we do a lot more. We have a lot more resources now, and we're going to have more. We're going to grow. When we came over, whenever there are transitions, there's usually a massive drop in subscribers throughout the entire industry, no matter where it is. So what 24/7 wanted to do is let's start real small and let's build up instead of starting where the staffing was before at IC and then have to cut people if we lose a lot. So we're doing really well. We're retaining a much higher percentage than they projected. So I anticipate that we have a few more spots to add down the road here. Hopefully one soon because we need it pretty desperately, to be honest with you. And we will grow from there. So there will be baseball coverage and coverage of pretty much everything we can get to. We're not going to be hanging around the softball field a lot or anything like that, but there might be a couple of stories on softball.
Shoot, yeah, dude. That's cool stuff, man. Because we're really diving into. Obviously, Jeff's got the Olympic sports knocked down, and he knows way more about that than I do. So I leave that to him. He is the rock star of that thing because he attends a lot too. And then for baseball, I've been in contact with the media, director over there, and trying to get some stuff set up. So I'm really excited to see how that comes along. But we're
just tell Coach Forbes we don't bite. We're very pro North Carolina, and we love Coach Forbes.
Trying to get a live show set up at the Bosch. That is a big thing. But just wanting to have some fun with it, bring some coverage to the stuff that doesn't get all the coverage in the world. So that's what we want to do here at the Hill Roast, because North Carolina is much more than basketball and football, man. They're a lot more than basketball and football.
Baseball really heats up strong in mid-May.
Yes.
And every year, why don't you cover baseball? Well, because I need to actually have modified 8-hour work days and stuff instead of 16-hour work days. And we just didn't have the resources for it, but we do now, and it'll be exciting because they're always good. They're always at the minimum good, and they should be again this year.
Yeah, you're right. It's busy though, because you start looking at Tuesday and Wednesday midweek games and weekend series. I mean, that's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot, and I'm still working on how we're going to do coverage of that this year myself. So, thankfully, basketball will be winding down.
I'm there a lot, so I'm there. Anyway.
That helps. That helps a lot. You just pull some players out for us. AJ, what's your confidence level for this game today for Carolina?
For Carolina,
because the point trade, you see it down there at the bottom. It's 7.5. 78% is the matchup predictor, but we know that thing is Jeff's favorite, and it fluctuates a lot.
It's not super high. State hates Carolina. The coaching staff hates Carolina. They bring a little extra barrel of spinach into this game than Carolina does, especially this staff, because I don't think this staff – I will give them credit that I thought they were ready to meet Duke's physicality last week. I don't think they were ready for Wake's as much. So Belichick and his staff may have figured out a little bit about how you communicate to your team during the week of a game like this. But I think the first quarter's key. State sometimes just jumps on Carolina over there. Yeah. And if Carolina can avoid that 14-0 hole, then they have a shot. They got to make some plays. I heard you guys talking about Tyler Thompson and Melcart. They definitely need to get to CJ Bailey, maybe force turnover too. They can't self-destruct in special teams. They were really good special teams up until 2 weeks ago, and last 2 weeks they've really hurt themselves a lot there. So they got to play clean game. Gio has to take advantage of that terrible pass defense and keep it in character instead of let it play out of character. That's a big part of every game I go into. You got to keep teams in character, especially if they're bad in certain areas. You can't let them play out of character. So I think State's going to win. I think they're going to win by a couple touchdowns. I give Carolina maybe a 15-20% going in to win this game, which is more than I would have given them a couple weeks ago. So I do think there's been some progress in some areas. I do think that Carolina's become a little bit more connected on defense. The communication's been better. I do think that they've settled in with who they're playing there. They rotate enough in the secondary in some spots where they're actually getting some good play from guys like Greg Smith now. So offensively is obviously where their major problem is. And I don't see a lot of answers other than State breaking down and Carolina taking advantage of it. So I think State by a couple of touchdowns. Possibility it could get ugly. But I've been saying that for a while, and it hasn't been. So maybe I've been undervaluing whatever little baby steps they've been making, because I've expected blowouts in the last couple of games. I thought Wake and Duke were going to blow them out, and they didn't. So,
what I pick, Alan? I said 33-9 was my score prediction for Duke, and it ended up coming down to a special teams touchdown for them to pull that thing out, and Carolina came back from down 24-10. So I guess honestly I've been kind of undervaluing it myself. To be real with you, Jeff has kept me a little bit more.
They didn't wilt in that game, and I kind of juxtaposed that with Clemson where they wilted.
Oh, dude, yeah. That was in that building. That was horrible.
The stuff that occurred after that really did galvanize some of these guys. And there's also one thing people need to understand, that we see really wild scores in the NIL era, in the portal era, where teams just cave right away. We're seeing it in basketball. You saw what happened to Gonzaga the other night. Florida State last night just got demolished, and they're not that bad. They won't be that bad moving forward, but they were that bad last night. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of it's just teams they take a while to gel. Sometimes they never fully gel. But the other thing too is every guy on that field tonight is playing for money. Because if you want to play at the next level,
you're right.
You got to show it on film, because coaches always tell players the eye in the sky don't lie, man. And the other thing is, if you plan on hitting the portal, then your last game is the game you want to show everybody the most. And you're playing for money for wherever the heck it is you want to go or you end up. So I would suspect that there would be an awful lot of effort if guys approach it that way. And I've been told that some of the messaging in the Keenum Football Center has been, look, this is a pretty wobbly situation in this building. This is not a fully connected situation, but that doesn't mean you can't play well and you can't play hard and play for yourself. And I think what's happened is some guys have done that and they fed off of it some, especially on defense. They really have learned to play off each other quite a bit on defense. Mm-hmm. And I think that has been the one reason that they're even in a situation where you could have a show and actually discuss, can they win tonight or not? Because had the defense not made this change, if they had not developed like this, Carolina would just get slaughtered tonight. The Carolina team that played Central Florida and Clemson would stand no chance tonight.
Yeah, I think what's huge is that, not only on the defense, one of the things that we've talked about, and it was a big conversation in the Mac Brown era, especially in the back half of Jeff Collins, like, hey, he's rotating more people in. There's more people playing on defense. People are not getting worn out as much. But you're seeing good depth come in for Carolina defensively, guys like Jaden Patterson, Gregory Smith, like you were talking about, and guys on the defensive line all over the place that are consistently coming in and giving you some valuable minutes, which is huge for Carolina. But I am curious, because we know this is the last game. We understand the recruiting class coming in. The question did just come in. I'm not going to ask the question directly, but how, from a broad spectrum, how much change are we getting ready to see in the next week?
I think every program in the country is going to see a lot. Now, keep in mind, the portal doesn't technically open until January now, I guess, right? January 3rd?
That is right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's
after
true.
the national championship game, right?
Yeah, I'll be in Dallas for basketball, I think, that night. But I've been told there's going to be a lot of movement. Like lockers will be cleaned Sunday with a lot of, and it's not just Chapel Hill. It's everywhere in the country of teams that either aren't playing for anything significant. If you're in a mid-tier bowl or less, the lockers are going to be cleaned all over the place. Guys are going to pick up and move. And I don't think that should come as any surprise to Carolina fans. A lot of guys are going to leave. Some are getting pushed out. Some have been encouraged. Some have already left. They've already lost about 6 kids. So I think there's going to be a pretty heavy turnover, and you're going to have another 70 new faces on the roster next year. It gets a much more difficult schedule, which is part of the conversation that hasn't really surfaced yet, but it will after tonight. because everybody then looks forward. You've got a staff that a lot of the excuse is 70 new players. So, hey, give them time.
Rinse and
But
repeat.
it's hard to give them time when things aren't built like they used to. And if you're going to have
there's no continuity,
you're kind of in the same boat, but with a much more difficult schedule. So I think what's going to be most interesting to me isn't who they lose. It's who they work to retain and how much they're willing to dip into the NIL money to retain these guys. Like, they need to retain certain players if for no other reason than to show the fan base that Melkart's going to stay. That Tyler Robinson's going to stay. That Jordan Ship's going to stay. Now, I'm not going to say Kamori House because there's a lot of stuff going on there with him, and we'll wait and see whatever decision he has to make. And I don't know how much of a priority he's going to be, but some of these guys are going to definitely be. Jaden Patterson, I think, has really played well when he didn't expect to start this year.
Absolutely.
I think they need to prioritize him. They need to prioritize DeAndre Robinson. I think Isaiah Johnson has been the biggest surprise on the defensive line, and they need to prioritize him. All those defensive linemen, for the most part, can be back. Vilbert will be gone. Obviously, Price Yates is retired from football, so he's not a factor anymore. But the defensive interior has really made progress. Bob Diaco has done a good job. I would prioritize all those guys, Leroy Jackson, all of them, and I would overspend to keep some continuity. Now, you used to say, well, we'll get the hometown discount. Omarion Hampton and Kamen Rucker gave them massive hometown discounts.
Amen.
They took less than half of what they could have gotten elsewhere from Carolina. But I think the script is very different now. And they need to overpay to keep some of these guys, to keep continuity and show the fans that, you know what, you guys that think this is a complete S show, Melkart's staying. He could have gone anywhere, and he's staying. Isaiah Johnson's staying. He could have gone anywhere. And I think that's part of going to be the plan by the program moving forward by who they keep. To me, that's a lot more interesting than who they lose.
Yeah, I think Melkart is who they thought.
Price.
Oh, no, not Price. Des Evans. I think Melkart is who they wanted Des Evans to be. What Mac Brown wanted Des Evans to be.
Well, he's more physical. Dez's issue all along. Des was blessed with amazing natural gifts, but he wasn't as physical. Melkart, if you go look at all of his sacks, if you can dial up the 6 or 7 different ways to beat an offensive tackle, he's done all of them at least once.
When I watched his Delaware film, I saw a motor that was just relentless. I was like, I don't care where he came from. That motor, you can't teach that.
Have you ever watched his workout videos? Have you ever watched his workout videos? He did a series of workout videos in Delaware that are pretty. You can go Google them or go look it up on YouTube. Dude's an intense worker. He's probably the hardest worker in the program. And I think what you've seen from him is all this stuff from Delaware took a while to show up in Chapel Hill. His one good game the first half of the season was against Richmond, an FCS team, because he could overpower and out-athlete those guys. He had to adapt a lot. Where he was rushing the passer against TCU to where he was against Virginia was night and day. And that was all because of his work and because the staff did a good job with him. So keeping him is a massive priority for a lot of reasons. You also want to sell, guys want to be here. And then it helps more guys. So if they're able to keep guys that a lot of other programs will pay big time money for, maybe that are higher profile programs, that will help bring in some guys because they're going to say, hey, something's cooking here. Look at how much this guy improved and he wants to stay. I want to be a part of that. So there's a lot of pieces here that need to come together. And a big part of it is who they retain and who they can get out there in front and say, Melkart's coming back. He's got a great deal. Isaiah Johnson's coming back. He's got a great deal, and so on. And that is going to be partly how they attract. That's the honey that's going to attract a lot of the other flies. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Absolutely, man. And I think 2 things. Number one, like Melkart for sure. I noticed, and I've said this throughout the season. I noticed this that he was super slow to start. You see his Delaware film; he was extremely fast coming off the edge, but he was super slow to start the season. But as he's come along, he's gotten quicker, and he's just a guy that's just wrecking havoc now. And
he's completely instinctive now.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
He's uninhibited and completely instinctive out there now.
Yeah, and I feel like all the edge guys, like Tyler's been doing it. Melcart's been doing it. And like they're showing that, hey, off the edge, we're dangerous too. And if in the guys in the center, if they're getting the push, then it's like, oh my God, we've been waiting for you. It's good to see you all together. Here we go. Defensive line, the whole thing.
I thought a really important moment for his arrival, and also Tyler Thompson's, which coincided almost the same time, was when Stanford called a timeout when both of them were on the field to try to scheme against, who are we going to scheme away from? They called a timeout, came out thinking Carolina would change their scheme and didn't change their alignment and didn't at all. And they tried to run a counter or something like that, and they got 1 yard and ended up having to punt. It was like a 3rd and 4 or something like that. That's the first time I've seen a team this season call a timeout, trying to figure out how to scheme against both of them being on the field, because I like them both being on the field. I like having two dudes like that. They're more athletic when both are on the field. And this has not always been a super athletic defense. They didn't look athletic at all early in the season. And the fact that Stanford called a timeout to try to figure out what to do because the two of them were on the field was a signal that not only have they had good flare-up moments to get some sacks, because sometimes sacks can be misleading. They're kind of like dunks. You could have 3 or 4 great dunks in a game, but if you end up with 12 points, they're just 2 points, right? A sack is just a TFL. But when the chance for a sack is always there, teams then have to scheme against guys. And Stanford did that moment. I thought that was the telltale moment that both of them had arrived. Not just Melcar, but both of them. And I would imagine that a big part of NC State's offensive plan is to keep C.J. Bailey away from both of them.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if they put them in a lot of motion and try to get C.J. out, because he can throw on the run very well, in my opinion, and just try to get him away from all. They're going to try to neutralize as best they can. Probably a lot of quick passes to get out of there and keep the defense on their heels and keep the defensive line kind of put, if you will. But one question is,
yeah, stop Hollywood first. So I mean, we got to stop Hollywood first.
Let me jump on that real fast. The other thing is that they've been getting a pretty consistent push in the middle. Mm-hmm. That you have to protect the middle first. If you're on offense, if you have a linebacker that chips or running back that chips, or not linebacker, tight end stays back and chips, or running back or whatever, they've got to protect the middle first. And because they're getting a fairly consistent push for like Xavier Lewis, when he's in pass situations, he's doing a solid job, that you have to protect that. And nobody's playing fullbacks anymore. I guess State has fullbacks on the roster. They've kind of had that for a long time, going back to Tom O'Brien. But a lot of times, Melcart and Tyler in one-on-one situations because teams don't have enough back to help with them. And that's if they can get a consistent push in the middle, then the two of them are going to have opportunities to tee off every once in a while. And then it will be a matter of, are they athletic enough to chase down CJ, to wrap him up, allow other tacklers to bring him down as well? Because that's one of the things that I think there's a chance if you're going to beat State tonight, you got to get a lot of guys, a lot of hats got to get to the ball. With Hollywood, you mentioned Hollywood a second ago. He's a hard dude to bring down, but you cannot let CJ stay upright enough to make plays because he's been kind of inconsistent lately, but he's got a big game in him too. He's got a breakout game in him, and it could occur tonight as well.
Yeah.
No, I think that's huge, man. And the coaching staff has to keep we've talked about, keeping level heads. You got to tell them, like, you let the play end, fight through the whole play, let it end. The whistle's blown, turn around and get back. And because NC State is pests. So that's what they do. They love, trying to draw the attention, draw flags and everything. We saw Duke do it. Last week they were, if you looked at the penalties, it looked like the Duke were the choir boys out there. And North Carolina was drawn into everything. So Carolina's got to keep their heads. They also have to keep themselves from causing stupid penalties as well, aka Marcus Allen. Got to keep that there. And I feel like the coaching staff isn't really good with this team, especially defensively. Offensively, it's much to be desired. How much change do you think we're going to see on the coaching staff?
Oh, wow. Good question.
Well, that was a roundabout way.
That's what everybody wants to know. Yeah.
That's the biggest roundabout way to get to. Who's getting fired after this game?
Yeah, we have threads on our boards about it and stuff. And I'm going to say this, that I was watching a game. I was watching Georgia Tech and Georgia, and they were talking about Mike Bobo's play calling, and the color guy was Jesse Palmer. Jesse Palmer does a great job, and he said, "Well, these are Mike Bobo's calls." I said, "Wait a second, Kirby's got a headset on." I talked to Mac Brown about this. About you hear the play that's being called. When do you jump in and have an exercise veto status on these plays? So for all the crap that Freddie Kitchens gets for play calling, Bill Belichick has signed off on every one of those plays because he's got veto status. He's got veto power. Now, I also think, and I'm not defending Freddie here, I'm just being straight up, what can he call that's going to satisfy people? I don't think that there's a whole lot you can call with what they have. So if you're in a box and you can only operate within that box, you can only do things that make sense in that box. It can be done in that box. I think they're in a box offensively. I don't think that they have bust out potential too much. I think tonight's a game where if it's going to happen, maybe it will. But Gio can't throw the ball down the field. The program knew it August 2nd, but he's a cavern ahead of anybody else. A lot of people keep saying, why aren't they playing the other quarterbacks? Because when fall camp started, the staff saw Gio on this side of the Grand Canyon and everybody else on this side of the Grand Canyon, and they haven't changed their minds. He's played every snap he's been healthy to play. The only time Max played was when Gio was hurt, and then Torrey Newkirk played one snap because Gio's helmet came off, and he threw an interception.
Yes.
So Gio is their guy. And they're trying to build an offense and build a game plan around Gio's limitations and an unsettled running back situation, in part because they have a very unique, strange way of building a rotation. They don't go with the hot guy. They're very much chess pieces. They've got 2 wide receivers. They don't really have tight ends that they use and that they have a lot of faith in. And the offensive line's been banged up at the point where there's like 9 or 10 guys they're going to address tonight. So they're very limited. So for all the crap Freddie's getting, I don't know what offensive coordinator people think would have an explosive offense with this group. I just think that they're limited. They're not very good. And so, yeah, I'm sort of defending Freddie in that sense, only because I think that people don't discuss that enough. Yeah, some of the play calls have been ridiculous. That stupid Jordan Shipp pass against Wake Forest in that situation was just a dumb play call. And sometimes coaches do weird things that don't make a lot of sense because they think that they were going to catch them on this one. Because when you have an offense that doesn't move the ball much, you're hoping to catch the defense napping every once in a while. And I'm surprised they haven't done more of that stuff, to be honest with you. Because if they're going to get a big play, it's usually going to be a breakdown. It's not going to be because it's a perfectly executed play, because 1 through 11, they're sensational, because they're not. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little trickery tonight, because they may have to.
No.
And they could get into State's head. And you were talking about State being a little bit chippy. What if State's the team that gets frustrated? And then they're the ones making hits after the whistle. Mm-hmm. And you can do that to them if you do something that they're not prepared for. And Carolina's been so damn vanilla that there's probably a lot of stuff in the kitchen sink they could throw at them tonight that they haven't seen on film. And if Freddie does that and it works, then maybe people will back off. But to answer your question specifically, I think there will be changes. And I think some of the biggest changes that are made are self-evaluation changes. Bill Belichick threw a little hint a few weeks ago about them learning some things. And I will maintain this, and I've said this on our site many times on our podcast, that for all the years that Bill Belichick spent 50 years looking at film of college football games, he didn't ever look at it in terms of it being a college football game. He looked at certain guys in the field and determined how they would translate to the NFL.
Right.
He never looked at college parts versus college parts. He's now had to do that, and he's been on a learning curve. And I would say the team being more competitive is evidence that they've gotten better at that.
Yeah.
Now they need to do it evaluating college personnel for the college game. They struggled at that early too. Eden Buchanan was the starting right tackle or left tackle or whatever it was against TCU, and he hadn't seen the field since. Damon June was 7th on the depth chart in the running back room going into TCU, and he's their best running back now. So I think that they've learned a lot of things during the course of the year. And whatever staff of changes are made when he evaluates everything, a lot of it's going to be based on who has come along at the same pace together. And I think that he probably feels better about his staff now than he did 6 weeks ago. So I can't specifically say, and I'm not going to say it's a guarantee Freddie's going to get fired. I know there have been some reports saying that, but the sources I've talked to say that there's no done deal on any of that. Bill doesn't talk or think like that during the year. He's so uber focused on planning the next battle. He's like, planning the next battle, that you got to get through that one before you think about anything else. And it really hasn't been a topic of discussion. I've been told. My sources could be wrong on that, but that's what I've been told.
Let's see, that's a big conversation, man, because, I mean, you know, I felt the same way. It felt like they were you could see the coaching staff figuring it out. And after Clemson, something happened. Something changed. Now, we all know the reports, everything that went out, the conversations. And
those reports have gotten 98.7% true.
There you go. So, I mean, there was a lot
that didn't come out. Just for the record, there's a lot of stuff that didn't come out. And everything we reported, we haven't heard from the program. Everything we reported was spot on. And I know a lot of people kind of have a hard time with that, but it was chaos that week. And you got, and I'm feeding on to what you're saying right now, that the staff, the communication in that building, the messaging in that building changed. Partly it was forced to change because of that week. I think that week, a lot was learned internally.
Yeah.
And some things have changed and been a little bit better. Now, is it great right now? I don't think it's great right now, but you got to give them credit for at least recognizing, oh, hey, wait a second, this tidal wave really is coming. And we got to do something here. And they did. So to your point that you're making right now, I'm backing that up by saying that, yeah, some positive things came out of that week. And some things are definitely a little bit better in that building.
That's absolutely true. And obviously we want to see the change that's coming, but kind of a two-part question, kind of centered around the same thing. At the quarterback position, that's been the topic of conversation. We know what Gio is. We see that. But moving forward, do you believe that there is a quarterback on this roster currently, a la a Bryce Baker, or maybe an Arturi Newkirk? We don't really know much about him yet. Or Travis Burgess that's coming in, that is your guy going forward? Or do you think there's going to be a massive hunt in the portal for a new quarterback? Or are we rolling with Gio?
Well, by the way, I saw Travis Burgess last week, and he was walking around really well. We're told
he's been working out. He's been working out. I've seen videos.
Yeah.
I've been seeing videos. He's been putting in work. So he looks
fast
like
healer. Yeah, he's been tagging us on some stuff. So that kid's got some goods. He's got a lot of attributes you want in a quarterback. And what I've been told is that if there's a true freshman that's come in since Sam, and Drake may have been able to handle it, but he didn't have to handle it because Sam was still there, that could come in and sort of be the guy and be a voice in the room people will listen to. But Travis Burgess is that guy. So it'll be very interesting to see how spring practice goes. To answer your question, they like Gio, and they have a contract with Gio. And keep in mind, a lot of 2-year contracts were signed before the House settlement in both sports. And they were doing it because once the House settlement went through and the revenue sharing became a reality, you kind of have a cap now with how much you can spend with the revenue sharing. Guys can make money outside that in traditional NIL, and it has to be cleared and all that kind of stuff. So they're committed to Gio for $2 million for another year. I don't know how all that works out. I don't know what the legalese is exactly with if Gio decides to move on, he gets nothing. If they push him out, does he get something and he moves out, or he stays and he gets the whole thing? I don't think anybody in our profession has fully understood exactly how payments go with NIL because it is constantly a changing thing. I know Mac Brown used to complain about a guy would come in, a high school kid would come in, and you'd pay him for his first year, he'd redshirt, and then he'd hit the portal, and he'd be able to get paid by somebody else. So he'd get 2 payments that year instead of just 1. And kids were gaming the system. What this does is it makes it more difficult for kids to game the system. So I don't know how they're going to handle Gio and all that money. That money won't apply against the revenue share, is what my understanding is. So they may keep him. I mean, let's say he plays really well tonight, and let's say there's not enough teams that qualify, and they take a bowl at 5 and 7 because they have the number 3 APR in the country, and it goes to the APR schools, and they go play whoever and win, and they're 6 and 7, and they win their last 2, and he plays well. They might marry themselves to him. Belichick prioritizes guys that don't turn the ball over. And he, like I said earlier, he's not throwing interceptions. Now they're not chucking it all over the place where the ball's in danger a little bit more. A lot of them are short passes, so he's going to probably have a longer streak like that. But I can't answer the question because it's very difficult sometimes to get accurate, true information from the program. It's not like past programs I've covered where you get a little bit more free-flowing information. These guys are not releasing a whole lot of stuff. They're not having conversations behind the scenes about a lot of this. So a lot of this would be gut instinct. But I would think it would make sense to go out and find a quarterback, but you've got to consider your revenue share and how much you can spend. And it goes back to what we said earlier. I think they've got to prioritize some players that fans like and have come to know and appreciate. And when you're sticking Jordan Shipp out there every week as the voice of the offense and not your quarterback, you got to pay him to stay. You got to keep him. So they may have to overpay to keep some guys for the reasons I stated earlier. And how much does that leave to bring in a quarterback that can help you? Would you rather, if you bring in another Gio Lopez, nobody thought Gio would struggle like he has, maybe you're better off keeping the guy that's not going to count against your revenue share because the contract was done before the settlement. You know who he is. You now have a whole year to work with him, and maybe you could win with him next year. Depends on what their thinking is and how they want to best use the money that's going to be at their disposal. I think keeping guys is going to be it. And like I said earlier, it's different than it used to be. Omarion stayed for $350,000. He was offered close to $1 million. He was offered close to $1 million by a couple of schools, but he stayed. He came and was offered not that much, but a couple of schools offered him more than double what he got, and he got in the 325, 350 range. So it's different.
Hometown discounts, baby.
Those guys in the current situation would probably have to get paid what they would make elsewhere.
Dudes that just love Carolina. I mean, dudes just, I mean, that's.
And Jordan does.
You get that too. And that, Jordan, and you can see that with Jordan. You see
and
that
he's
with
got
him.
friends outside of football, which matters. This is where a lot of guys just want to go to school there and be a part of it, which is good. Those are dudes you want in the program. There's not a whole lot of, give it the old college try guys anymore, but those guys Jordan's that. He leaves it on the field every week. Mm-hmm. When we talk to him after a game, you could just see it on his face. It radiates from him that he left everything on the field. And
face paint all smeared.
Oh yeah, just in the way he talks, there's so much legitimate passion with what he says, and you need that voice. You need that voice in January during workouts.
Amen.
Not just next season. You need Melkart as a leader by example. The way that he's a badass working out, you need that guy leading the way and showing guys, look at what I did here. Look at how much I grew here. That's really, really important. So like I said, I think the most important stuff that we find out in the next few weeks is who's staying. Maybe even more than the coaching staff, what players are staying. Because they got to keep some of these guys. They can't go into a situation where they've got 80 new dudes next year. Yeah. They need to keep some of these guys and build around them and have a semblance of a program beginning to take shape.
Right. And no, that's
the point. I was going to say the points you made about guys like Melkart showing people like in January. Yeah. That's when the real stuff. I mean, that's when the real work's done. I mean,
it is.
What happens then? Man, it sets the table.
You got to have a great spring
key. That's so
key. Stuff gets them to the spring. They got to have a great spring practice because the staff. Bill has basically said spring was a waste because so many guys that were in certain big roles in the spring were gone because they made so many changes after the spring, and it wasn't a wasted spring because I think the staff learned a ton. It goes back to what I said the staff learned. The spring this year would be far more buttoned up and polished than it was a year ago. Yeah. And because there's no spring portal, your roster is going to be there. So you want guys like, if you can envision some Civil War battle, the first dudes that are at the front of the line going up a hill. If you've got Melcart and you've got Jordan and some of those dudes going up that hill first, you feel a lot better about things than you would have a year ago, not knowing who on earth it would be, especially when we found out and learned that a lot of guys they brought in weren't going to help them and never would have taken 2 steps up that hill. They would have been gone.
Yeah, I just
guys,
hear that.
Guys, I gotta go.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Appreciate you, Jeff.
I'm gonna head to
Absolutely,
Carmichael.
brother.
What time is it? Oh, it's 12. I got to go here in a second too. Hey, good talking to you, Jeff.
And
Good seeing
so insightful, man. That got, man, insightful doesn't even do it justice.
Appreciate
man.
it.
I learned so much, man. Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care, man. Be good.
you. See y'all.
I got to go here too. We got games starting, and I've got to get my steps.
I know, dude. You got to get your steps in and
I need to
everything.
get to Carmichael. So
And we got to get ready for our Thanksgiving. Me and Alan are having our Thanksgiving today. We haven't had Thanksgiving yet, so we got that going on. One thing
I had my loaded omelet from Denny's on Thursday as my Thanksgiving.
and one
fear
thing that would be
Melcart is going to have some big time schools back up the Brinks truck.
oh sure,
That's
of
the only
course.
thing that worries me.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
the thing,
Any
everyone
possibility.
has revenue share for the new guys coming in. So the money that's being spent isn't going to be what was spent a year ago. Now the key
Right.
is what kind of deals can people offer. But I was talking to somebody yesterday for a while about this. I don't think there's going to be as much movement moving forward, in part because I do think there's going to be some stipulations that come down on how often guys can move. I think the portal is a bigger problem than NIL. NIL is what it is, but the constant movement, constant free agency is an issue. But there's not going to be as much money there now. And I think that if you can create an environment where the fourth year player like Seth Trimble is like, hey guys, I got an ice cream shop on Franklin Street. If I would have bounced around to 2 other schools, I wouldn't have an ice cream shop. I'd have some cash in my pocket, but who would care? If Jaden Young opened an ice cream shop tomorrow, would anybody care? And I'm not being disrespectful to Jaden Young. He just showed up. But Seth Trimble did it. People are connected to him, and and they all talk to him on a first name situation. He's Seth. He's not Seth Trimble. Then it makes a lot more sense. And I think that there's a lot of other NIL value about sticking around. If you're in a program for a second year, like Melcart will get some NIL opportunities at Carolina once January hits that he hasn't gotten since he arrived last January, because he's now a known commodity in this market to this fan base. He now actually has some NIL value. He had no NIL value last summer. So that's part of it as well. So Carolina could say, look, we could pay you this much, but we know some of these other cats are going to have some NIL opportunities for you, and it's going to be cleared by the NCAA, so you're going to get that cash too. He's not going to get that going to another school. So, So how programs can work this out is also going to help them in whatever program it is. That's good. That's kind of the next phase here on as each program adds different personnel and different prongs to it. How can you kind of align NIL opportunities with your key guys to use that as a selling point to keep them?
No, man, I think that's absolutely huge now, because now you've got skin in the game here, and now you can set up roots, and the community wants to back you and things. Some people come in with a higher level of clout than others. We understand this. If a big time quarterback comes to Carolina, from another college, he's probably going to have more NIL deals available to him jumping off of the rip, just because, hey, he's got that clout coming in. Hey, if Carolina would have got John Mateer or something like that last year, hey, man, come on in. We want a Raising Cane's presented by John Mateer. There you go. Whatever the case may be, that now Melcart and some of these guys have some skim in the game, and I'll be curious to see how well that's being able to use. And it's also great for the community of Chapel Hill as well.
If I'm a local gym, I'm signing on Melcart, because I go look at those videos. Like, they recreate those videos and do it in our gym, and throw him a ton of cash.
And he's all the time on TikTok anyway. So there you go.
Well, and he's a good spokesman for the team too.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, funny story, at Syracuse, the offense scored 27 points and had 400 yards. It was their best game. And I asked Melcart, and it wasn't a trick question or anything like that. It was legitimate. Like, hey, you guys finally got, complementary offense and defense in the same game. You complimented one another for the first time this year. And he gave kind of a benign answer, and he walks up and goes, man, that was a trick question. So no, actually it wasn't. You guys really actually had good defense and good offense in the same game for the first time this year, really. Because even against Richmond, he had 312 yards. It wasn't like the offense was super explosive that game. And I like that he said that, because he's kind of on script in front of the microphone, and immediately he was off script and said that. So there's a confidence when a kid says something like that, walking off in the manner that he did. And I can see him being that leader on defense. I can see him being that voice. And he's also a lead by example guy. So we've talked an awful lot about him, but I do think it is worth it for them to do everything they can to keep someone like that around. Absolutely.
100%.
I hope so.
Hey, you're 100% right, man. And we're gonna head out of here now. This has been it's been a really fun time, man. You got to get your steps in. We got to get ready for our Thanksgiving, and then the watch party
Michigan,
tonight.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm more worried about Clemson and South Carolina right here starting up. Actually, now as a matter of
Miami's starting right now too, right?
That they are.
Yeah, they are. A lot of 12 o'clock games.
By the way, pretty good day for the ACC in basketball yesterday. You see those buzzer beaters?
Yeah.
It beat Ohio State at the buzzer. Stanford won the Acrisure tournament, beat St. Louis basically at the buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
Had some pretty good wins in the league. They struggled for a few days, but they ended up the week doing pretty well.
Non-ACC, but Michigan is thumping people.
They are thumping people. And Elliott's like all over. Elliott's mother is, good gosh, she's everywhere on social media with this
everywhere.
stuff.
He doesn't shut
everywhere.
up.
She is a unique bird. As someone said in the press room a couple weeks ago, she's Dusty May's problem now. You know what? One thing I'll say about her is I appreciate her passion, man. She loves her kids, and I appreciate her passion. So, yeah, but Michigan looks really, really good so far.
They do. Oh man, that's hilarious. I love
honestly, I wasn't expecting it. And then I watched some of the games, and it's not really because of the transfer they got either. They're pretty stout without him.
They did a very good job in the portal, and what they're doing is because they did a really good job. It's allowing Elliott time to sort of morph into what they need him to be. But but there's also the danger that the team that looks the best in November never wins the national title. So, especially now in the portal era. And there's, like I said earlier, there's some crazy results that just don't make sense. And I'm not going to buy too much into a couple losses for anybody, even the Carolina basketball the other day.
Yeah.
I'll say, like I said on our podcast, Hubert, these guys need to play freelance motion. They need to play off each other. You cannot put Caleb and Henry into an offensive box. Let them play. Let these guys play. And I think
you got to work with them.
And I think you're going to see Luke on the ball more and more and more.
That's good. That's a good thing. And especially, Seth Trimble out. I like it for our guards to be able to get some time in and learn to have to fend for themselves without having to rely on Seth. Now they've got to continue to get better.
Yeah, they could have used Seth the other day. Seth would have been on fears in the last 10 minutes, and a lot of those drives never would have occurred.
Absolutely. 100%, dude. But we're excited about that, man. Hoping maybe after this football season's over with, we can get together with you and Jacob and do some football postseason talk and just chit chat about the season.
Sounds good.
Let's do that. And
I need David. I can't reach out to him on Twitter.
Who's Sisk?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to talk to him about baseball, but his DMs aren't open. So,
really? I didn't know that. I'll talk to him. David's a great follow on Twitter. He's a little snarky.
David is great.
He's snarky about the SEC. He loves the SEC craziness, and that's sort of what he comments on and feeds into.
Right.
He's a great. He'll be watching college football all day today. He'll be a fantastic college football follow today.
I know, man.
Even though he's a basketball genius, and he's a golf genius too. If you like golf, he's all over that.
Absolutely, dude. He's always got something to say over there, which is great, and I love that to death, man. Fun dude. He's a really fun guy to watch on Twitter and watch how he does. But man, we've had a really good time today. It's been fun. Enjoy yourself in Raleigh.
Appreciate
Don't try to skate through the crowd, if you will.
I will enjoy it. I love the passion of this stuff, man. And it's
great.
It's going to be chippy tonight. I hope it's chippy.
Yeah.
It
Me
should
too.
be
Oh, I
chippy.
love it. Oh,
I just hope it doesn't get out of line. I hope nothing happens in the chippiness that takes away from the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 100%.
But
dude,
if it's
'cause, yeah.
chippy every snap and there's a shove and the refs don't throw a flag just on a shove, then I think we'll all enjoy things even more.
Mm-hmm.
100 shoves means 100 shoves with no flags is a good night.
I couldn't agree more. I love it.
Yeah. I just hope there's no intentional nonsense like there was last year on Cayman Rucker.
Oh yeah, no, that was
that
Bush
pissed me
League.
off.
Yeah, well, and State has given Carolina some bulletin board material too, so maybe it'll be interesting to see if Belichick channels all that. Yeah, and the Rucker stuff. Yeah, Cayman's a great dude, and I remember had a little chat with him about that afterward, and he's such a good guy that I could actually probably tell you everything he said, and he wouldn't get any trouble. You know what I mean? He's such a good guy, but that was dirty. Hopefully, there's no dirty stuff tonight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can do without that.
Cool.
And if Carolina wins, Jordan Shipp needs to be the one that plants a flag in the middle of the field, right? And when he's sort of
Dude,
the pass off from J.J. Jones taking the flag last year.
I want it so flipping bad. I'd never condone this junk, but last year being at that game pissed me off so bad. We were in the blue zone, like at their tunnel. And dude, I just wanted to jump over the side of that daggone thing. Like, I don't care if I get killed. I don't care. I'm just going after, bro. Defend the land.
Were you surprised there was no objection to Duke taking the bell out to the middle of the field last week?
I didn't see that.
Nobody saw that.
Duke took the bell right to the logo, and there was no objection to it.
I am surprised about that. I can't believe North Carolina allowed that to happen.
That's Belichick.
Belichick may have just told him, none of that stuff, and they probably fear him a lot more than they do the refs. So,
yeah, it's probably true. That's probably, but honestly,
which means there probably won't be a flag
they do
plant.
win. Jordan has cited JJ. JJ was a great dude, is a great dude, and I cited him as a mentor. So maybe Jordan will be the one who gets the flag and puts it in the middle of the field, and I think that would be great.
Dude, I hope we get the pettiest Belichick we've ever had today, dude. Oh my god! And if they win, I want Jordan Hudson to make the win post. Oh god, I wanted to do it. I want it all.
Do you understand what I said to my job?
Hey man, hey, job security. I got you, bro.
I understand. The petty Belichick actually, if they win, would be interesting. But man, if they lose, we're going to get one word answers. He's going to stand up. He won't sit down. And the less that we have to have Jordan on our plate, the better. So we have done everything in our power to stay away. The problem is it's now reached, and I had a conversation with someone in the athletic department about this the other day. The problem is now she's now becoming synonymous with UNC. So it's kind of it's really hard to avoid. The narrative of the program includes her. So you could talk Carolina football, and I prefer to keep it on 3-point stances and cross blocking and cover 2 and all that stuff. But from a broader perspective, and the fact they're going to go into the portal now, and every kid in the portal is, when they come on their visit, they're going to see if they can see her. They're all going to know about it. People can say, you're going to go to that school with her there, with that crazy situation. So that they've created this, and it'll be interesting to see if that affects them at all in the portal as well, because maybe some kid's mom's like, I don't want you going there. Not with that going on. You never know. We'll see. I hope it's just football, because that's what I want, man. I don't want this TMZ crap.
Absolutely, for sure, man. And I'll be curious to see, and I'll be here for all the dissension that will happen, and all the fun that we're getting ready to have. And AJ,
just keep the cameras rolling the entire game. I want to see what happens at midfield if North Carolina wins. Don't cut it. I want to see the punches.
You record that for us.
I want to, ESPN, ACC network. Don't go to ACC huddle after dark or whatever. Just let the cameras roll if North Carolina wins.
I did film Duke doing that, but only because I thought there was going to be some objection. And I was going to tweet it out. So, I was going to fan that flame a little bit, but they didn't do it. And the reason I didn't put it out there, because I didn't want Carolina fans to get all pissy saying they're letting them do that.
Yeah,
so,
I would have been one of them fans that have been all pissy. I can't believe they're doing
I also think a lot of the players were heading out too. It wasn't much congregation at midfield between players like you see after games. So They had families there, senior day. It may have been a lot of other factors. Maybe they were surprised or didn't even know it. I don't know, but it was interesting that they did that.
Yeah, I'd have to say that is pretty. Yeah, that surprised me a lot.
I also think that they probably been drilled into them. No crap, because you got another game to play. If you start throwing punches, then you're suspended this week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's the last. That's the last game, more than likely. So here we go. Let's just bare knuckle brawls, baby. Come here, CJ.
I mean, if the ACC suspends a guy tonight for what he does tonight, and he ends up in the Big 12, does it carry over? Probably not.
That is a good question. I didn't think about that, but all right. Okay,
all right, guys.
On that. Thank you guys so much.
I always enjoy talking to y'all.
Absolutely do.
Thanks,
we appreciate
AJ.
you and everything. Be sure and tune in tonight, 7:15 p.m. is going to be the live watch party starting, and we're going to have ourselves a good old time. Thank you guys so much for all you've done over here to Tar Heel Game Day. Appreciate guys like AJ and Jacob Turner and everybody that we've had on Tar Heel Game Day throughout the entire season. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be carrying this over into basketball for certain games and also baseball as well. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always,
go Heels.
Graphic time.
All right, I gotta get rolling. I gotta go get these steps and watch some football.
See you, AJ.
Take care, guys.